On the stage, Hakim Cassimally.
Hello. So, over the last 18 months, I've been co-writing a book with Adrian, who was just on stage, and here's the book, but I'm not allowed to advertise that. So this talk is actually about lessons that you can learn while writing a book, because it's an experience that not everyone has done. I haven't done. So the first lesson, that's Adrian there. When he arrived, this is what I should have done. Would you like to write a book? But I completely failed on that, and yes. So the book is about the Internet of Things, and it might be this talk isn't about the Internet of Things, but we should just kind of explain a little bit about what it's about. And roughly speaking, it's about not just computers talking to the Internet, but things. So one great example you may have seen is Bubblino, who's a bubble-blowing machine who listens to Twitter, and every time something that he's interested in is mentioned, he blows bubbles. So why is that interesting, and why is it happening now? And one of the reasons is that computing power has become really cheap. So one of the anecdotes that we use in the book is that the kind of chip you needed to connect to the Internet used to cost the price of a small car, and nowadays it costs more like the price of a chocolate bar, which is a great anecdote. We've mentioned it to a few people. The only problem with it is it may not be entirely true. So one of the lessons is that we should really get our facts right. And one of the annoying things about writing an actual book that gets published is that you have people like editors and project editors and proofreaders and that kind of thing all checking your facts and saying, did you just make that up? Did you get that from Wikipedia? You know you really need an actual source. So this is a Word document with lots of red marks and yellow marks and so on that are proofreaders. This is actually two proofreaders, me and Adrian, having a conversation in the format of Word documents. And keeping us honest and making sure that we don't talk complete nonsense. Of course, it doesn't mean it takes time. So Adrian started off fresh-faced, and now look at that beard. So yeah, it certainly does take time getting all of this done. We took 18 months, which is rather longer than the publishers would have liked. So we looked at old emails we'd had with our commissioning editor, Craig, long-suffering Craig from Wiley, who said, "Oh, really excited about this, guys. You know, the book will definitely be out by Christmas." And it is. Of course, he meant Christmas 2012. At one point, there was an advert saying, this is an advert in another printed book saying it was going to be ready by January. So we're only, 10 months later than that. So obviously, why is it that the book took so long? Is it because we're lazy and feckless? Probably yes. We've also had, lives and jobs and other things. Also, it turns out that writing a book's hard. And it can also be quite lonely sometimes, oddly. Co-writing has been helpful. But, as I mentioned, there's lots of people, there's project editors, technical editors. Every time we would email Wiley with a question about something, they'd say, "Oh, you need to speak to somebody else in this marketing department." And then she replies saying, "Well, actually, why don't you speak to someone else in another marketing department?" Which is, so that's 4 pages from the book with different acknowledgements, some of them from us, some from the publishers, and so on. And we thanked all kinds of different people in different roles, some of them technical, some of them just keeping us sane. And of course, with this many people involved in the production of the book, there's lots of chances for things to get missed out and for you to make mistakes, ultimately, which are my and Adrian's responsibility. So the main one we found was that the pictures weren't in glorious Technicolor, as we thought, but in black and white. That picture in the book has a caption saying, "Notice the red LED on the green circuit board." This doesn't come across so well in black and white, sadly. So yes, Mandy mentioned social media earlier, and of course one of the things that we kept on being recommended to do is use social media to develop an author platform. Basically, this means we use Twitter a lot, and I tweet as a book of things, all the other stuff, whatever. But we do have a blog, and the blog and Twitter have been quite useful to allow us to have a conversation with people who are interested in the Internet of Things, giving us lots of suggestions, things to talk about, things that they're interested in, and so on. That's been really good. Another really good source of information has been Amazon, who have told us things like the publication date and how much it's going to cost, which our publisher didn't get around to telling us. Also, it's been fascinating watching it and seeing your sales rank in various different categories. But having done that, it's actually quite a nice feeling because we've got a book and it's actually printed. You can even buy it in Kindle format if you don't like Dead Tree books. Sorry, no, I'm advertising now, apologies. That's me and Adrian flying off into the sunset. And on Monday we're going to have a launch event, which you're welcome to, which is at Leaf's sister venue in the business district. And there's more details on book.roomofthings.com/blog. Thank you very much.